Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. This week's Parsha is that of Sh'mos. We begin the book of Exodus. And the Torah tells us that Klal Yisrael in Egypt, they became very fruitful, they multiplied, and they became very, very successful throughout the entire land. And a new Pharaoh arose. Some say it was indeed a new Pharaoh. Others say it was the same Pharaoh who just changed his principles. And it states, Vayome el Amai, and he said to his nation, Hine, behold, Am b'nei Yisrael, the nation of the children of Israel, Rav v'otzum mimenu. They are more numerous and mighty than we are. And therefore, let us prepare ourselves with great wisdom. And we have to deal with this problem of the Jewish people. And as we know, they decided to first embrace us with warm words until they were able to win us over. And eventually it led to oppressive extra taxes and ultimately to our enslavement. Our sages say that this verse is quite difficult. Vayome el Amo, Paro spoke to his nation. Indeed, Paro spoke to his nation. They didn't have television or email, or he wasn't able to go on Twitter. How did he address his nation? He didn't address all the people. He addressed his immediate, closest advisors. Maybe he spoke to his Senate. Maybe he spoke to his Congress. It should say, he spoke to his wise men. He spoke to the elders. How does it mean? What does it mean he spoke to his nation? That's number one. Number two, he says, Hine, behold. Whenever we find in the Torah the word behold, it's emphasizing something new and unique. What is so new and unique? He's saying, behold, the nation of the children of Israel, they are numerous, more numerous and mighty than we are. What is the behold? It should have said, and Paro said that the nation of the children of Israel are more mighty than we are. What is this behold indicating? Third problem is that he refers to Klal Yisrael as Am, the nation. Why does he call us the nation? It should have said, behold, B'nai Yisrael, the children of Israel, that's who we were, are more numerous and mighty. But for some reason, Paro finds it necessary to refer to us as the nation. And if indeed he refers to us as the nation, then why must it say the nation, the children of Israel? It should have simply said the nation of Israel. Just say that, the nation of Israel. It's almost as if there's two separate things here. There's the nation and the children of Israel. What exactly is Paro trying to say? And the final issue, the fifth and final issue to understand, is that how can Paro say that the children of Israel are Rav, more numerous and more mighty than we are? Is that true? Klal Yisrael at this point in time was there in Egypt for maybe 130 years, a few generations. Now, in a few generations, it's true that they multiplied greatly. People were having 4, 5, 6 children at a time. But nevertheless, you're talking about tens of millions of Egyptians. Maybe there might have been 100 million Egyptians. And we had maybe in 2 or 3 generations, we went from 70 to maybe 10 million Jews. How do you compare 10 million to 100 million? And not only that, but we're not more numerous. Certainly we weren't more mighty. The Egyptians had an army. The Egyptians were skilled. The Egyptians had borders they had to protect. The Jewish people, we were shepherds. We were involved in other elements within society, just as we are today. But we were never a pugnacious people. We were never warlike. We were never individuals who would be standing for our might and whatever. Yes, we do find Shimon and Levi and Yaakov, when they had to utilize the sword, they did. But that wasn't our personality and our character. So what does Paro mean when he says they are more numerous and mighty than we are? The great commentary, the Kli Yakar, explains that when it says that Paro spoke to his nation, doesn't mean he spoke to all of his people. Indeed, he spoke to the limited sages and members of his cabinet. But what did he speak to them about? Vayomer, and he spoke El Amo, in regard to his nation, not to his nation. He spoke in regard to his nation. What was he saying? Hine, behold, there's something incredibly unique that we have not seen before with these Jewish people. We've had people from other origins, other ancestral beginnings that have come to dwell and live here in Egypt. And after a generation or two, they've assimilated. They have intermarried with Egyptian people. And even if they married amongst their own, but nevertheless, they've taken to Egyptian culture and it's become their identity. And they have enmeshed themselves within the rest of Egypt. You can hardly tell them apart. Just like we say in America, it's a melting pot. People have come from all different walks of life and we become Americans. It's a wonderful thing. That's with everyone else. But behold, Am B'nai Yisrael. There is a nation, the Jewish people are a nation. They remain separate and unique. They're a nation unto themselves. They have not married amongst us and they have not assimilated, but rather they keep to themselves. Oh, they're involved in all aspects of our civilization and our culture and all businesses and whatever, but they're not assimilating. They remain a unique nation unto themselves. How is this possible? What is it about them that enables them to retain their singular identity? And that is because they are B'nai Yisrael. They are the nation of the children of Israel. They are a separate, unique nation. Why? Because they are proud and identify that you know who we are? We're the children of Israel. Who is Israel? Yaakov. Why was he given the name Israel? Because God told him, you have struggled against all forces that can be present within this physical world. Even an angel, the angel of Esav, came against you, and you have been victorious. That is the name Yisrael. You are the prince amongst man and amongst even the angels. That's who we are. And we are the descendants. We are the children. We have the same unique character, the properties. It's carried within our DNA. It's who we are. It defines us. And Yaakov, the son of Yitzchak, and Yitzchak, the son of Abraham, and Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. That's who we are. And Klal Yisrael knew this. Yes, they were engaged and they were involved with an Egyptian civilization. And yes, we must say there were some elements of assimilation, but not to the degree that it eroded our identity as the children of Israel. We knew that we were unique and we did everything to retain that. As the Midrashim say, what merit did we have that we should be redeemed? We didn't change our names. We didn't change our language. These are remarkable things. We didn't change our identity. We kept our language, Hebrew. We pray in Hebrew. We try to speak Hebrew. And we kept our Jewish names. What does that mean, a Jewish name? That's who I am. You want to know who I am? I'm Abraham, I'm Moshe, I'm Reuven. That's who I am. Yeah, you can give me an Egyptian name or whatever. Maybe on my taxes, I'll put down my Egyptian name with my social security number. But you want to know my name? This is my name. Yosef was given the name Tzofnas Paneach by Paro. He never used it. He was Yosef. That's the name he used. He was given the name Yosef and he remained Yosef. The Jewish people, Paro was saying, I'm in regard to my nation, there's another nation here. Two nations within one country, and this nation which identifies as the children of Israel, that they understand that they are unique and they are special and they are chosen. They are more numerous and mighty than we are. How are they more numerous? Not in numbers. They're more numerous and mighty because they identify as family. We're all the children of Israel. We all have one father. We all have one mother. We all are one mishpacha. And there's something about family. They will fight for each other. Oh, they might bicker and they might quarrel. But when push comes to shove, we'll be there for each other. That's family. We won't let our brother or our sister stumble and fall. We'll do what we can to help them. And that is the source of our might. And that makes our numbers far greater than just the simple chronological number unto itself. Those who are involved in the military will tell you that when you have soldiers, troops who have trained together, slept together, eaten together, worried together, been hurt together, they are a band of brothers. And they will be there for each other and fight for each other. And the strength of two is like the strength of 5 ordinary soldiers who are independent and don't feel to each other with this bond. That was the bond of Klal Yisrael. That's what Paro saw. They're all one family. They're one people. They're so concerned about each other and they retain their identity. This I consider a threat. Now, of course, as we know, there was no reason for Paro to be threatened. On the contrary, we were always one family. And yet Yosef and Yaakov and his brothers, they were the source of the greatest success and wealth for Egypt. Egypt grew into a massive empire because of the presence of Klal Yisrael. There was no need to feel threatened. But nevertheless, Paro and the Egyptians, this was the deep-rooted anti-Semitism or hatred or envy or whatever the psychologists will tell you. This was their deep-rooted enmity that they had that was now surfacing and flowering. One thing we do see, and that is the great strength of Klal Yisrael is found within our identity as one people, not to assimilate, to live amongst our hosts and to live amongst our neighbors and the nations of the world, and to do so with the greatest dedication to ethics and morality and kindness and charity. But nevertheless, we revere the fact that we are indeed the children of Israel chosen by God, given his Torah and his mitzvahs. That's who I am. Yes, I have to go to work, and maybe I have to be involved in this one, that one. I sell to whoever comes in, and I do so lovingly. But who am I? That you'll see on Shabbos when I go to services. That you'll see during the day when I daven. That you'll see in my behavior when I'll open up a book of Psalms and I refrain from speaking Lashon Hara. That you'll see when I go to the stores to shop and I make sure that the food that I buy is the food which is that of the Jewish people, the kosher food. That's who I am. When we can retain our identity, therein lies our strength and our might. And that's the source of God's blessing. Yes, there's Paro, and there are always those who are going to have issues with the Jewish people, unfortunately. But God was with us in Egypt, and God will be with us through all of our trials and tribulations. May we remember and take to heart just how blessed we are, that we are indeed the children of Israel, have the potential of this great might and strength, the strength of being a light unto the nations. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay Jewish. Have a wonderful Shabbat.